What is going on, everybody? I'm Adam Fraser, your host of the River Run podcast. I welcome you to another episode. Man, it is good to be back in the seat. I'm really enjoying this. This is fun. At the same time, this season has begun. I've been watching all of the Kayak Bass Canada June week long that you guys got going on, and it looks like people are just getting into the fish. A lot of bass being caught, a lot of giants out there. It is super awesome to be here. So let's get it going. But before we jump into all this, I did want to touch on a couple things. I have no fish stories. I feel like, I don't know if I've been blessed or if I've been jinxed by this car that I acquired. It's really dampening my season, I feel like, and it's only beginning. My journey. It drives me nuts. Yeah, I wish I had fish stories for you guys, but I don't. But I can't wait. This coming weekend, I'm going to be heading out to New York State. I got 3 days down there helping out, doing some fishing, having some fun with battlefish, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to this event. It's going to be fun. At the same time, don't forget, Kayak Bass Canada. You can sign up from now for July, August, September, October. Sign up. You know, get in there, get out. You know, go have some fun. Go catch some fish. You know, meet new like-minded anglers, and at the same time, just have fun, guys. Like it's all about having fun, and you're gonna meet new people. You're gonna learn new things. Don't forget Hard Knox. Hard Knox is got a lot of fun meetups coming up. They got another one coming out next month in July, which we'll talk about. That's where my guest of the evening is, and also Jackson Kayak. They do the U.S. Bassin. Check it out. They got a whole lineup of events going across the nation. At the same time, they got weeknight, weekend, you name it. Check out the list, usbassin.com. Jackson Kayak is proudly the sponsor of that trail. And at the same time, don't forget, go check out the awesome shows on the Paddle and Fin Network. Like, they got a lineup of great shows, great hosts, and you know what? There might be something that has caught your eye and, you need to listen to. So don't forget, make sure you go and hit a like, a follow, and make sure you subscribe to the one and only Paddle and Fin YouTube. And don't forget, you can find me, the River Run Fishing, on YouTube and Instagram, and you can find me on Facebook. But yeah, no. At the same time, before I bring my guest on, don't forget the fine folks at Dubro Fishing. Yeah, that's right. Dubro Fishing is offering you an awesome 10% with the River Run podcast promo code, which is RRUN10. Save 10% at checkout. I actually just got a sweet little order from Dubro Fishing, and I'm telling you, their dewy baits there, I don't know. I haven't had a chance to go out and use them yet, but I will tell you this. I am pretty pumped because I've seen some little craws and I love paddle tails. I love finesse paddle tails, and you know what? They got the rump, and I'm telling you, I'm really looking forward to this. And at the same time, I'm going to be trying out as much as I can of some of the sweet products at Dubro. But yeah, they got a pretty cool website. Check it out, dubrofishing.com. Follow them on Instagram. They're on Facebook. Dubro Fishing. They are there for you. So at the same time, tonight's guest is Steve Eidt. Steve Eidt is well, I'm going to be honest with you. He is a brother, a friend. He is somebody that has inspired me, and he runs a phenomenal trail called Hard Knox Kayak Fishing. Hard Knox is an awesome group style, bluegrass, you know what I mean? Like, it's just grassroots. Like, everybody comes out and hangs out. They fish, they have fun. They got a lot of different meetups. It doesn't cost you a dime. It just costs you your time. You know, come on out. All we ask you, we're a PFD. So yeah, so I met Steve a couple of years ago, actually at a KAO event on Black Donald. And yeah, no, he's a really phenomenal person. He's got such a big heart. And he also just happens to be into kayak fishing, just like the rest of us. So without further ado, I'd like to bring on my guest and give him a warm welcome, Steve Eidt from Hard Knox Kayak Fishing. Steve, what's going on, brother? How are you, man?
It's going, living life. How are you doing?
Good, man. Good. Hey, I wanted to say, you look like you got some Hard Knox swag on. You're rocking it hard, my friend. I thought I had to wear mine too. You know, and even that. There you go. That's awesome, dude. So tell me,
that's
actually, how about
hot
this?
Off the press. First one.
Hot off the. Oh, you know what? That's wicked, because at the same time, you know, Hard Knox, you know, you guys got a new logo this year. But before we dive any deeper into this, we got to stop. For the folks who don't know you, I'll let you take the stage, my friend, and you can introduce yourself.
Good evening, fellows, folks. Name's Steve Eidt. I started Hard Knox Kayak Fishing about 7 years ago. Went on something where I could meet people and bring like-minded anglers together and have fun on the water. So that's how I created Hard Knox Kayak Fishing. Just a little intro of it.
I think that's a great intro. That's a great intro. Yeah. So like Steve's
7 years, met loads of great people.
You know what, dude? That's funny. I was like, man, I wonder how long Hard Knox has been around for. But I just wanted to get back to something here, because I started telling a story before and then I was like, I gotta hold on this story. So Steve and I actually met at a KAO event on Black Donald, and it was actually my first kayak fishing tournament. Well, it was all for bass, but it was my first tournament, and I ended up going down with a friend of mine, Roberto. And so I end up crossing paths with this dude, and I see like this like Hard Knox, like he had the t-shirt on, and I was like, man, who is this guy? I'm like, I'm the name is awesome, you know what I mean? So I was like, so I walked over there, and you were talking with Roberto and whatnot. And then we ended up chatting, and then I started to kind of like learn more about Hard Knox. And then you talked about the group on Facebook, and then, you know, flash forward a couple of years, all of a sudden, like, you know, we're you know, Hard Knox meetups, you know, we're getting together on the water, you know, like, man, I gotta say, like, I was super stoked to meet you, dude. Like, it was really cool.
That's a pleasure. Like-minded, I like meeting people like you, and it makes me feel more humble knowing people like you and a lot of ones are into the sport like we are.
Yeah, you know, so I had to say, like, at the same time, it was really, like, you know, it's really cool, because like that's the one thing as I got to know more of the Hard Knox crew, it was really neat to, like, you know, sit down and like actually get to know like you guys. And like there's a lot of other, you know, there's other guys behind Hard Knox too, but you know, before we bring the whole crew on, because we're definitely gonna have to do an episode, if they're up for it, is to bring the whole crew of Hard Knox guys on. But yeah, so like Hard Knox, like in the big scheme of things, like how did Hard Knox, like, for one, like, I love the name, and it's catchy, you know, it's got all the right vibes, you know what I mean? But like, how did Hard Knox like really come about? You know what I mean? Like, how did this all, like, what makes one person just decide, you know what, I'm gonna start like this Hard Knox crew, and we're just gonna start getting out on the water?
Well, when I first got into kayak fishing, I have to thank my my good buddy Marty. He went out and bought a Wilderness Tarpon 120, and he was out for, maybe he had it for 2 weeks, and he's like, dude, you got to get into kayak fishing. You got to get yourself a kayak. I'm like, I don't know, maybe. Let me see. Well, long story short, I ended up getting the kayak too. So our first outing in the kayak was probably 2010, is when I was first on the water on the kayak, and Marty and I spent Canada Day long weekend actually out on Lake Ontario in Jordan Harbor area.
Nice.
And I have to say, I got sunburnt so bad that day. Like I had 2nd-degree burns on my shins because being new, not thinking out, not putting suntan lotion on or nothing.
Yeah.
But we had a good day. We caught fish, lots of fish. Our guilty pleasure was, let's go do this again tomorrow. So we were back out in the water again the next day.
Oh, you must have been putting your legs in the water that day, I tell you.
Oh, I wore pants the second day.
Oh,
that was hurting
yes.
already.
Oh,
that was overheating. It was. That's how
we laugh about it now, you know, but that hurts. But yeah, no,
it
like
hurt.
it. Oh, so you get out in this tarpon, and for most people, it's their first time out on the water, first kayak, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's actually a pretty memorable experience. You know, I can remember my first time, and for the way we go out now to the way that we used to go out, like it's a lot different now that what we know, and I think that's kind of the cool part about it is, it is one of those things where you're like, man, like you go out there and you're like, I remember when I first went out, and we're talking like 2014, and I remember just paddling out there, and I had like 2 rods, like I had a little tackle bag. I may or may have not had some other things with me that day that you shouldn't go out on the water with. And, and I remember just going out there, and I was absolutely like drawn to it, like I was taken to the sport of kayak fishing. And it wasn't until, later on that, I really began to look further and further into it. I just would go to the cottage, throw a PFD on, grab my rods, 2 rods, casting rod and spinning rod, and I would go out there. Yeah. Did you ever measure fish in the beginning? Like, did you weigh fish? Did you do like the selfies with the fish?
We did a couple.
Like it was. I never did it, man. And the only time I ever had like that photo is I went out with my uncle, and I was like, yo, we got to go out. You got to get in the kayak, bring a rod. And he's like, going in the kayak with a fishing rod? He's like, I don't know about this. So I said to my uncle, you know what? Let's just go. And we went out there, and he's like, oh, I got to take a picture of you. And he gets out his phone, he takes a picture, and there's a photo of me in a Wilderness Systems kayak. And it was like 2015, I think it was. Man, I'm telling you, I look back of how simple it was. You know what I mean? Like it was, we didn't have a lot when we went out, So no, to what it is now. So like, at the same time, like that's a really neat way of how Hard Knox has evolved. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like from what it started as. So like when Hard Knox started, like how was it? What was it like back then?
Yep. Well, I started it, and it was 7 years ago. So what was that? 2017, I think it was.
Yeah, that would be correct.
Yeah. So there was another group in the Kawarthas area that I joined, and I asked questions on there. It didn't seem to have any response to anybody getting back to me or getting back to anybody. It was kind of like a flattened platform. There was no activity on it. So I got thinking one day, I'm like, I should start something, and I want to build a community where it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or you're a pro angler or what you are. It's someplace where somebody can get together. If they got questions, there's going to be somebody there that can help them out with anything. And it's funny now that I see it now, like there's been other groups that started after Hard Knox, and they skyrocketed in membership and everything else, and you don't see them on the platform anymore. They've kind of fallen off the radar. And I didn't want to have a group that exploded in popularity right away. I wanted something that actually that grew and began rooting.
It had more for the members, you know what I mean? Like I would definitely say like Hard Knox, you bring up a really good point, because like the way I look at Hard Knox is like it's so community strong. Like,
It's taken a lot to get there.
And the members, you know, like even like the meetups, like they just keep, every time they keep growing, and like that's the part that, just like I said, like that aspect of community is like, it's just so important, you know, like we're all there for the same reason. You know, you're bringing people together, like you said, of all skill sets. Like, it doesn't matter if you're like an expert angler, or you're like this is your, like, literally could be your second or third time out on the water. We don't, you know, at the same time, it doesn't matter how old, or, you know.
Well, and look, both of our kids are getting into the sport. Ethan's been out there. Paige has been out there.
Oh, I know.
Paige a rock hard.
And you know what? I'd seen Paige had landed quite the fish there on the weekend.
Yes, she did. She was fishing for panfish. Yeah, the little,
you never know.
Little grub on there, and I have to say, she is quite the trooper. She gets in there. She gets her hands dirty.
Oh, I will account for this, because like we also get together for the CHEO event, which, you know, don't forget. The CHEO event, you can make a generous donation to a very charitable donation, to the CHEO, which is the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario, and it's a kayak fishing life benefit. And Steve is actually, he's a volunteer that comes up every year, and he helps out, you know, early start. But last year he actually brought Paige and his wife, and like, I'll be honest with you, it was really cool to see that, you know, like that whole family aspect. I'm so big into that, you know, and I think when you see the support coming, not just like from the anglers, but you see like their families supporting these events, like, to me, like, I feel like we're just heading in such a great direction as a community. And I really felt like watching Paige that day. It was really cool watching her. Like, she was like such a trooper. She was up. She was like ready to, like, you know, get the boats going. She was like helpful. Like, we were doing all the swag bags, you know, like it, man, she is such a trooper. And, you know, it just shows, right, too, like parenting wise, you know. And I know people say it to me like, oh, you're doing something right, Adam. And like, I can definitely say, when I look at, you know, Steve Eidt, I go like, yeah, he is definitely doing something right. Like, there is no doubt in my mind that, you know, when those kids get even older, they're going to be like, you know, coming out with us, and, you know, in their early adult lives. And I could even see, like, in the next couple of years, like, you know, Hard Knox meetups where, you know, like Easton and Paige, you know, or even Easton, Paige, Addison, whoever, you know, coming out, like. And that's the funny thing too, like, not the funny thing, but that's a really cool part too, is that, you know, at the Hard Knox meetups too, you bring not only like like, we have like such a diverse group. Like, when you think about it, like, you have you got, like, you know, you got guys, you got girls, you know, and, you know, at the same time, like, you have, I forget the gentleman's name, I think it's Ray. He brings out his grandson.
Yeah,
he brings out his grandson. Like, that's something special, man. You know, like, I think that's really cool that, you know, because I feel like
Ray is a one solid man. He'll do anything for anybody, and like, he's written a couple books. He's toured across Canada for his books. Like, Ray is a really good. In most of his free time, he's gone like the Algonquin fishing out of his kayak and stuff. Like,
I'd seen it on Facebook. Like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a trooper. I like that guy.
So, you know, at the same time, like, Hard Knocks, like, you get together, and, you know, so if you wanted to take us back, okay, like, take us back to that very first Hard Knocks meetup.
The first one I did, I had maybe 2 people show up. The first one, as it was something I'm starting out. I'm like, we're getting the small communities there, so we're trying to get everybody out, and maybe it was the wrong location or the wrong timing, but I had I think 2 or 3 people show up, and it was a great day on the water. We were on the water for probably 6 hours or so. I enjoyed it, and from that time on, I wanted to make sure I can get more people involved. And for many years, I was doing doing all this myself. Like, had support from my wife. She was there helping me. But there was times where it was like hard knocks. So you get to the point where you're like, this is what I want to do? Or do I just step back and whatnot? The fire that was inside me when I started it kept sparking up. And I just kept pushing on and pushing on. I went through hard times with it. And I've had people.
I think we call those growing pains. You know what I mean? Yeah. Growing pains, dude. It is what it is, you know?
There was people that were putting the doubt in the back of my head all the time on it. And
there's always going to be a couple of them, I tell you.
Yeah. In this industry, there's a lot of that, no matter where you are. And if you're set on something you want to do, it doesn't matter if somebody's trying to put you down or put you up on the highest pedestal. You focus and you do what you want to do, and you push forward. Right. And
do what makes you happy, man. That's that's it.
And my wife can vouch for it. There's been many times where I've probably spent a low ton of money on swag and stuff, and I say to her, so I gotta sell it so we can get it and make more, bring more swag out. Yeah. And there's been times where I'm like, hey man, how's it going? Oh, you're so and so. Okay, here's a decal. Oh, here's a shirt. Like, giving stuff away. That's like, I know I gotta make sure everything's taken care of, but I got the heart where it's like,
yeah, man, you definitely have a heart of gold. Yeah, you definitely do, Steve. I'll tell you, you wear your heart on your sleeve, my friend. I'll be honest with you, dude. Like, that's the one thing I would say. You know, even from the time that we met, you know, and gotten to know you over the years, and I'll be honest with you, it's you definitely you are what makes Hard Knox shine. You know what I mean? Like, you definitely you do such. You're so selfless, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that's the part that, you know, a lot of guys, you know, and there's a lot of women out there, guys and girls, anglers of all whatnot. But I would say, you know, the biggest thing is that that's what people see. You know, you got this, like, Hard Knox is, you know, you see Steve, and Steve's just, you know, this guy with big heart, and, you know, so you can see the passion that you have for the sport. And, you know, I think in this day and age, you know, it's I think still having that true fire, you know what I mean? That fire that we had, you know, like I'm a firm believer that my passion is always going to be burning for this, you know. And I think you kind of could probably say the same thing, you know, like at the end of the day, it's about getting out on the water and, you know, sharing your memories, and at the same time being able to surround yourself with, you know, the same people who, you know, enjoy it as much as you do. I think
that's why I keep pushing on. It's the people that I have around me to do this. Like, I don't have an addictive personality. I don't get addicted to stuff very easy.
I do.
And this year, the kayak fishing and the Hard Knocks, I'm addicted to it. Personally, really, it's like an adrenaline rush.
It is.
When I start thinking of the stuff for next year, I get kind of excited, and it's like, I want to get going. But it's like, finish this year out first.
We got to get through this year. Yeah. So, I wanted to ask you, that day on Black Donald, was that the best day of fishing you ever had, or was that the nicest view, but I couldn't keep a fish on the leaderboard day like I had?
My day was tough that day. I think I was in the wrong area of the lake, and that rain that we had on there. Yeah, dude. That rain was like, that was insane.
Yeah, I think that's from like 1:30 in the morning till like, I want to say like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock the next day. Like, and then the sun came out at the very end of the day. Yeah, it was wild.
It was a tough day for me on the water fishing.
I'll be honest with you.
Small ones, but nothing really of the leaderboard.
No, I'll be honest. I couldn't even get a fish on the leaderboard because I could not keep the fish on the board. Every time I'd catch, I was like, "Oh yeah, sweet, got one!" And I remember catching them on on a football jig with a Strike King Rage Craw trailer, and I remember just like flipping this little jig in there, and it would like all the way down, and then I would just kind of like hop it, and I felt, and I was like, oh, nice, and I would just boom. I would get them, and dude, I'd get them up to the boat. I'd get them on the board, and I don't know if anybody's like understands the whole process of the smallmouth bass and boards. Is they're not magnetic. They don't stick to the board. They will find I title them the Great Escape. Like they can't do it.
That have the most. They're the fish that should be on Ritalin.
Yeah, I think they are. I really think they are. I heard somebody say that, like they're always pissed off. And I was like, well, yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, no, I will always remember that. I remember that tournament. It was fun. I met a lot of great people there. That was actually the first time I ever met Aaron Dodds from Kayak Fest Canada there. Serge. Oh man, I'm just trying to go through the names of people here. Like Peter. Oh man, there was so many guys that I met there that day. But needless to say, it's kind of funny, because at the end of the day, like, friendships forms through, that's how you meet people, and that's why I always tell people, like, you get the chance, like, come out, hang out, come down. That's what it's all about. It's about getting together, having fun, and at the same time, hopefully hook into a couple fish, and I'll maybe try a new body of water. So yeah, that's why I always tell people, like, like you might be a little nervous about always, like, I know people when you're new to something, you can be a little nervous, right? Like, you don't know if you really want to come out to this. Like,
really,
yeah, it can be intimidating. You're like, holy crap! Like, look at this. Like, I only have this. It's like, it doesn't matter what you have. At the end of the day, it's you come out, and. I think that's the part to me that makes it so much more exciting, and new body water that I've never fished, or I may have fished before. So it brings back even greater memories. Yeah. You make friends, and you make paddle friends, you make pedal friends, you got a motor, cool, even better. There's always people that you're going to jive with. It doesn't matter what the brand, the rods, reels, whatever you have, what you drive. At the end of the day, it's like, we all love kayak fishing. So like, if you're out there for bass, you're out there for a lake trout or pike, or, in the end, you're going to find people that, truly are passionate about it with you. So like, at the same time, I gotta ask you a couple questions here. And I don't know if you're up for this, but
I'm here. I'm up for it.
Okay. So if you're up for it, that is the attitude. I love it. I love being just go for it. That's what I like it. Okay, so here's the game. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question, and the first thing to come to mind. So you have two options, and you're going to have to pick one of them. So it'll be, So if I ask you, for fishing wise, largemouth or smallmouth?
I tend to target largemouth more right now.
Cool.
But I did get my personal best smallie. It was actually, I broke it twice in one day within half an hour of each other. I got an 18-inch smallie.
Nice.
And then like just after, in the same area, was the 19 in the quarter.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. It was
just fishing with Nelly. I forget who else. Matt was there. We went to this little lake that Nelly knows. I'm not going to say the lake, but a little lake that Nelly knows.
I like it. Secrets.
And it was my first time there, trying to figure it out. And I was casting the shore, and there was a ledge that dropped off from like 4 feet down to 8 feet. So I was just retrieving the worm back, just wacky rig coming back, and it fell off the ledge, and boom, there it was. And I was stoked. I'm like,
dude, that's
pretty
awesome.
much was my first smallie in the kayak.
Oh, that's an experience right there, eh?
Yeah.
That's definitely a fun experience. I personally love the wacky rig. I don't care what anybody says. The wacky rig catches fish, and it is like, I know a lot of people like that's not a technique. It is. It really is. It is.
I got a guilty pleasure. I like I like my top water,
Oh,
but
nice.
I think I overuse it too much.
Well,
You know what I mean?
yeah, okay, so
I go out there and I throw top water, and I don't get bit sometimes. Then I'm like, I gotta change something different. And little promo, thanks to Wes at the Wham Baits.
Wham Baits. There you go.
I
Yes,
got
yes,
some
yes, yes.
worms from his. So I'm going to be throwing those a lot more this year. And hopefully I can get some more bass on the worm this year. My goal is to do more finesse and then instead of top water. I'm going to redoing my boxes now and trying to do Ned rigs and worms.
Dude,
mostly they take out on with me this year.
Yeah, I can second that. I'm going to. I don't fish. I'll be honest with you. I really don't fish the Ned rig all that much. I know a lot of people that do.
I've thrown it a few times.
That's it. I've thrown it a few times.
I'm going to focus a little more on the finesse.
And I look at it. I'm like, this thing's like this is silly. Like, what is this? Anyways, it does catch fish. There's no doubt about it.
Jay catches fish on them, and he hated the Ned rig for a long time.
Yeah, he's yeah. Oh, there you go. Swim baits to Ned rigs, like it's possible. All right, so we've nailed it down that you lean towards the largemouth, and that's cool because largemouth are definitely a fun bass to catch. So if I had to ask you, hard baits or soft baits?
Soft baits. My top waters are all soft top waters and the plastics, the worms and that. I've got a lot of hard baits, but I don't tend to throw them as much as I should. So there's fish to be caught on them as well.
Oh, there's a time and place for everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes I when I go out, I like to I'll bring, I don't know, it really depends, but I always like to have a backup, so a follow-up bait, as they call it. So my finesse kind of nails me off for having a follow-up bait. So let's say if I'm throwing like a whopper plopper or I don't know, like a chop. I mainly throw the choppos. I have like maybe 2 whopper ploppers, but mostly are choppos. And I'll be like buzzing them along, and sometimes you don't get hooked up. So I'll fire out the wacky rig, and I would say 90% of the time, I can usually have that fish come back and get it. Now, doesn't always happen all the time. But soft baits, I love soft baits.
I witnessed it. Peter's event at the dock.
Yeah.
Oh, I witnessed it.
So, yeah, everybody's, so that's the thing about Adam. Adam at the cottage spends a lot of time fishing docks. Why? Because I know where the largemouth live. And so there's certain spots that I go, and I'll be honest, a 5-inch Senko is usually pretty good at. I can get that to go either skip it underneath docks, underneath boat houses, underneath like lay down. Overhanging trees, around logs and whatnot too. And I've been pretty impressed with the size of the fish that I have caught. On a wacky rig. Like a lot of people, that doesn't catch. And they're like, well, the other thing is elephants eat peanuts. So
a lot of people are afraid to throw it around stuff like that.
If you're not getting hung up, you're not putting it in the right place. Like I tell people with crankbaits, like you go and fish them. Like get that thing bouncing off everything. If you're not getting hooked up on something, you're not fit. You're not where the fish are.
Where's the minnows and everything? The bait fish, where are they going?
That's all right. In that grass. Everybody's hiding for the cover, and what lurks behind. Yeah, it's so true. So this goes to the next question: shallow or deep?
I haven't really fished deep water, really. Like my deepest I've gone is like targeting is probably 10 to 12 feet.
Okay.
Is the deepest that I haven't really fished like deep water for smallies or largies or anything. I haven't really.
Yeah, you haven't gone. You haven't really kicked into that 30 foot mark plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, there's 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 a lot of great places, especially if we just want to talk about the Hard Knocks there for a second. Lake Ontario, like before you get into the islands or that little cove kind of bay that we go into, like as you cross there, like it drops pretty quick,
Yeah. I kind of want to fish that area in the summer time.
Yeah, dude, that would be cool. I would definitely like to fish that for like.
We go there for our pike meet at the beginning of the season. I think I want to do that, just a pop-up meet and go there for bass in the summertime. I think it might be a good spot.
I think it would be. I think Matt could definitely confirm that for us. It has to me it looks like it has a lot two good points, you know what I mean? I just don't know what like the traffic would be like out there, but okay, so we've nailed it down. Shallow. I like it. Okay, cool. If you could only go out with one setup, okay? One only. Casting or spinning?
It's casting. I sucked at casting for the longest time, and that's all I took out with me for the longest time. And I did my research on how to set them up, how to tweak them and that. And I'm getting pretty confident now with my casting rods that pretty much the barrel speed, barrel drag, I've got that backed off to almost nothing. And my weights are maybe spinning brakes are probably backed all the way off as well. I got it as loose as I can get it.
That's wicked.
I do get backlashes. I admit it.
Yeah, dude, I trust me, I get them.
But I've got 3 bait casters: Chronarch, a Crotto, and I got a Ducket that I got from Joey Ford. Those are my 3 reels that I use.
Nice.
And I have to say, man, when I back them off as loose as I can get them, I can cast a pretty far distance away from the boat and retrieve back in. Because what you think about when you're sitting in a plastic boat, any little sound you make on the boat, it resonates out.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
You try to get out as far as you can away from that, so you're hopefully not making noise and spooking them.
Yeah.
And going back in. And I've learned that if I back those off pretty good, I can get out there pretty far. And
it's funny, it's funny you say that. Like I generally go with for length of rod, I prefer the longer the rod. Why? Because when I'm throwing like a search bait, I want to be able to like just chuck that thing a country mile. Like I want to put it as far away from where I am, and I want to just begin to work it. So I generally prefer like a 7'4" length rod. But my shorter length, 7 foot, I have a spinning length 6'8", but for me, like I'm the same, like I'm a huge Shimano. Like I absolutely love the Corrado, like the Corrado K. I'm to be honest with you, I'm a huge. This is for the world to hear right now. Adam Fraser is the biggest MGL fanboy on the planet. Let it be heard. I love the Magnum Light spool. It is awesome. Anybody that wants to go on about that, you can message me anytime. I love to talk about the MGLs. But yeah, no. So brings us to our final question that I have for you is that if you could go fishing with one person, whether it's, a pro, it's a, somebody, like a family member or whatever, who would it be?
That's a tough one. There's a few that I want to go with. And
you can, if you really want to break it down, if you have a couple, you could go with like your number one to maybe, or you could even, if you can't just pick one, who would it be? Like what would your option, where would we find Steve out on the water, and who is it with?
I've been friends with Jay Brown for many years, many years. We've been on the water, I think, together 4 or 5 times. I would like to go out with just him and I for a day or for a weekend. He is a phenomenal stick, I have to say. He gets the job done. He gets the seat time. When he gets the seat time, that's where he is. I'd love to go out there and learn some more stuff from him. Yep.
Well, I'm sure he might be listening. So Jay Brown, you heard it, dude. You and Steve got to get on the water. Jay's gonna come to our Hard Knox meetup this year. I have that feeling it's gonna happen. No, Jay Brown, I would definitely say. If I could say, yeah, for sure. Jay, I've never actually gotten out on the water with Jay. Jay and I are also friends, and we talk, fishing and keep in contact. And I would definitely say if it is going to be somebody to be out in the water, his content is great. Check him out. Will Travel to Fish that's Jay Brown on Instagram. He is also known as Downtown Jay Brown by some of the other people on the Paddle and Fin network. So Jay is no stranger to the fishing world. So coming to this next part about this whole, we've kind of figured out, like, we've got Steve, what Steve likes and whatnot. So Steve, tell me, with the Hard Knocks this year, you're speaking about Wham Baits, the River Run Fishing podcast. We are more than happy to sponsor Hard Knox Kayak Fishing. We got some sweet, I got some sweet hats for the meetups to raffle off. Tyler, if you are listening, dude, I am horrible at this, but I tell you this, I promise you this week I'm going to be firing out that hat to you and some stickers. Tyler was the lucky recipient of the River Run podcast raffle prize. So, yeah, I will have that out. But no, let's talk. Like, we don't need to talk about the River Run. I want to talk about Wham Baits here for a second. Like, Wes Matheson is like, he's got pretty neat setup here. Like, as a bait guy, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Wham Baits. He's done stuff kind of all over. But what I was gonna say is, if you haven't heard of Wham Baits, check them out. They're on Instagram, Facebook. I'm pretty sure he has a website. Yeah. At the same time, super awesome for him to want to help and sponsor.
Well, see,
Hard Knocks.
I've been wanting to get sponsors for the group for a few years now. And
that's awesome.
I want to focus on Canadian-made bait makers and help them out, get their product out to the general public.
Yeah.
Because they're a small group of people that are extremely talented bait makers here in Ontario.
Oh, and man, amazing.
Help them out, getting their name out and their product out. That helps out them and it helps out us. And Wes was one of the ones that I went to CanCast, and Wes and I were talking Facebook on and off. He said, "You got to come see me." So I'm no problem. I'll come see you at Cast Can. And we got talking and that, and then ended up I asked him if he would like to be a sponsor of the group, and he was all for it. And I appreciate that. Like, I'm over and beyond ecstatic that he was up for it and he has got some phenomenal baits. Like, I did an order once already, and I'm planning on doing another bigger order. It's the stuff that I wanted, he was already sold out of. So
it's popular, man. I think I cast for the sorry, not iCast, CanCast. Sorry, get that right, Adam. Like, yeah, you should know that. CanCast. I really wanted to go this year. Unfortunately my stars didn't align for that, and I'm definitely going to make it next year. But what I was going to say is that, like, Wes, like, I really think, like, just the way, like, he also interacts with, not just, like, I don't want to say followers, but just, like, his customers, but, like, just the way he interacts with other people, just makes me want to, go and, purchase some of his plastics, but like
he is a very personable person.
Yes, that's the word I was
Easy to
looking
talk
for.
to. He gets along with everybody. Like, he is a phenomenal dude. Like, and stepping up and helping out Hard Knox, and we're helping out him. Every time we have a meet, he actually drove down and delivered the donations for their pike meet.
Nice, and that was so we're talking Lake Ontario here. And so Steve's actually out of the St. Catharines area.
Yeah, Niagara area.
Yeah, Niagara area, which that's a good little hike right there. But what I was gonna say is, like, honestly though, like, it's like for Hard Knocks to grow, and to have, now you're kind of at that point where Hard Knocks is a group that's developing, not losing its true roots. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
getting the help from whether it's like the podcast or Wham Baits and whatnot. And Wham Baits actually offers a promo code through Hard Knocks. Yes. So you can check that out. So what I was gonna say though is like, what is going on with Hard Knocks like coming up? Like you and I both know like what's going on, but like for the folks at home who may not know what's going on, we got a lot of sweet meetups coming up.
Yes, our next meetup is July 27th, Seymour Lake.
Yeah,
I'm fine-tuning the launch area. I got the launch area down. I just got to get the proper address so people can find it easier.
Yeah. And just before Steve goes ahead, you can follow Hard Knocks on Instagram. You can follow Hard Knocks, the group, on Facebook. Yeah. And I'll make sure to link all that stuff. And well, actually, on any of my River Run podcast, whether we're in the live feed, or if you look down in any of the podcasts, Spotify, Apple podcasts, you name it, you'll see the links all down in there. You'll see Hard Knocks Instagram and Facebook, and same with Kayak Fest Canada, same thing there. But yeah, so if you ever want to check out, become a member, you want to know what these events are, at least I can help you and giving you the info that you need. And if you have any questions about Hard Knocks, you can always reach out to Steve too, right? Yeah. So exactly. Seymour Lake is coming up, and like, what should we expect? Like, what
the guru who knows the lake a little more than us is Warren. Warren's fished that before.
Warren Wong. Funny how he picked that one, hey? He might have something that he might be telling us something that there's big largemouth in there. That's like, if you want to read between the lines right now, this is what I'm seeing: largies, big largies, jigs, punching jigs, flipping jigs. Yep. Yeah. See, Warren Wong, if you're listening right now, I'm on to you. I know what you're doing.
Warren's the swamp king, as I call him.
Yeah, he caught a 7-pound largie,
and then
last year.
The
next,
he's always right in the thick of the things.
Yeah, if you follow
10th.
Warren, but if you follow Warren online, that guy's kayak looks like it's on in his yard half the time. And the reason I say that is because he's in such thick vegetation. I'm not sure if his kayak is actually like in the lake or is it on the grass. You know what I mean? Like, he is like, that guy puts that kayak in the thick slop, and he just found, man, like, and his hook set videos, it's just like, and it's just like, wow, like, yeah. But yeah, no, Warren, and at the same time, like, Warren is a fantastic, like, one of your other fantastic organizers, coordinators to help you, with because at the same time you have the events, you have a crew behind you that you have helped put together you have put together, and those who give you any help, so that's cool too, like it's that's neat to see. So
exactly. Like I say, I have an excellent team that is working with me on Hard Knocks. I can't say enough about the guys. They phenomenal guys. I couldn't ask for a better group of guys to help out. And I think they're going to help make this grow in the community thick harder than what it is now. And I just actually on the weekend, I had a new member of Hard Knocks actually DM me and asking me some information on catch boards and where she can get catch boards from. And
nice.
I pointed her, she's in the same area as I am, the Niagara region. So I pointed her in a direction where it's close enough to her that I know that they carry them. So hopefully she got her catch board, and she looks like she's doing some tournaments now too. So
awesome. Yeah, that's but that's at the same time at Hard Knocks, because it is just a meetup. Like you don't necessarily have to have a catch board. You know what I mean? Like you don't need to have a hog trough. Like if you do, cool. It doesn't matter. Like you can bring them out. But like, so I was just gonna say, like, the meetups this year, it's kind of cool because you have like, kind of a bit of a mix. Like we started way out on Lake Ontario in May, which May
4th is our our inaugural.
It is such
that one's a staple to kick off our season.
It's a total kickoff. I look forward to it every year. Year.
The first year it wasn't too bad. I think the timing was off. I think I did it on Mother's Day weekend, the first one, so there wasn't a lot of people coming out. And then the second year, I did it before Mother's Day, and we had a phenomenal group of people come out. And this year was excellent again. And yes,
it was great.
The kickoff meet for Hard Knocks every year, and from this day on, will always be Toronto Island Pike. That's our kickoff. And we all know we all love to fish bass.
Yeah.
But there's something about locking into one of those toothy critters beginning of the season gets you fired up for the rest of the season.
Northern Pike. It does get you fired up, especially after all those months. Like I don't ice fish or anything, so after all those months, I'm like, okay, well, comes to a time where I'm like, I got to hook into something, and unless I go off the bank, I might actually next year try and go and fish smallmouth in the early catch and release season, but do it properly with like an actual dry suit and whatnot.
When we were there for our pike event, I do think that bass is open.
It is
only. And that's the thing that we're there too. So we do have the best of both worlds at that day.
We do.
Really.
We do.
And we can target some bass.
And you get the solid backdrop, like when you're in the sixth, like the pictures to be made there. I think if you don't catch anything, you're gonna get a sick photo behind the Toronto skyline. That's super cool. I think that part right there is it's super awesome.
It is. The drive through the city to get to the water is
especially the trailer, dude. Oh man, honestly, dude,
when you're on the lake and you look back over your shoulder and you see the skyline of Toronto, you're like, this is what it's all about. As much as I really don't like being in the city, but when you're looking back from the water out to the land like that and you see that backdrop, it is something else. And if you haven't got time to experience, I suggest get out there and take a look.
Oh, for sure. I tell everybody, Hard Knocks. I've got the shirt on. Steve's got the shirt on. Steve's got the hat on. I have Jack's kayak hat on. But Hard Knocks, come on out. It's super fun. But so we got a couple more meetups, right? So we're nailing it down for July, August, September. Are we going October, or are we still playing with that idea?
We're playing with that idea still.
Okay. I wasn't sure if where we were with on that one, if we're still playing with it. But I will be at just about every Hard Knox meetup that I can make it to. Last year we had a lot of fun fishing Sparrow Lake. We also hit up we got to talk about Peter Young's paddle sport get together.
Well, that is a staple. That's awesome.
Dude, it is awesome.
Yeah, he's changed locations this year.
Yeah, it's like closer to you now.
Yeah, he's now we don't have to away from my trailer on Buckhorn. And
yeah, that's cool. I'm so pumped.
Friday morning, I think I'll be up there, or either Thursday night I'll be up there. And like I told you, you're more welcome to come.
Oh, dude, I'm leaving early for this. Like I'm not Adam's. I honestly think I'm going to go a day ahead, but a day before. Sorry, because I want to kind of go out and fish and just have fun. Because like when we did 6 Mile Lake last year, dude, like it was like I got up there. It was Friday night. Yeah.
Yeah. I
got up there. We all hung out in the parking lot. We're all, just having fun, chilling. There was the the famous female Ontario anglers.
Yeah, they were
there. They're the ones, the girls with the
fishing pole Christmas tree,
fishing pole tree, Christmas, all hanging out. Yeah. And it was really cool, and it was like that paddle sport get together is really. I wish the first year I wasn't able to go because I ended up getting sick. I missed
the first year too, so I've been to the second one, and I've been to 2 of them.
Yeah, you went. Yeah, so I missed the second one, but I went to the third one.
Yeah, so I missed the first, went to the second, the third. This year will be my fourth. It's the same as Aaron's events. I've been to all 4 of them now. We're going to be all 4 of them.
Yeah, so the Kayak Fishing Life Benefit for CHEO is such an awesome event. Steve is also a fantastic volunteer. He is, as my role as a volunteer coordinator for that, Steve is like my number one volunteer. He, him and I have really put together a great team building atmosphere, you know what I mean? Like we're just like, yeah, we got to do this. Like, like Steve's just like, yeah, man, I'll go handle park. I can get this. I can,
Yeah.
And like I said, Steve last year, he brought his family and, and that's what it's about, man. Like it's about, like sharing this with everybody. And that's why I always say, don't be afraid, you'd be surprised, like don't be afraid to take a kid out fishing, I invite my kids all the time. Sometimes I get a yes, sometimes I get a no, but at the end of the day,
he just always asks me, Dad, can we go in the kayaks this weekend? Her and I went to the trailer this weekend, and she's like, we're gonna go in the kayaks. I'm like, not this weekend because it's supposed to rain all weekend.
Yeah, it was a rough weekend for weather, dude. Yeah,
but I didn't want.
It was wild.
If they didn't call for thunderstorms, I would have taken her out in the Yaks. But they're calling for thunderstorms, and I pulled the dad card and said, "Nope, we're not going the Yaks."
Yeah, and dude, like I can't stress that. Like, I get it. There's a lot of new people who get into this sport and whatnot. Do yourself a favor. Look at the weather app. Look at the radar. And really understand where you are, okay? Exactly. And make sure your location is even on so that, if you're not just looking at, like if you traveled 5 hours, you're not looking at weather that's 5 hours away. You're looking at weather that's now. Just like PFDs. But yeah, the weather, you got to watch. I bet Steve you can second this for me, but like, being stuck out on the water when the weather decides to switch up on you, a lot of times that can be pretty preventable only because you may know ahead of time by checking your weather app, keep your phone on. But yeah, giving yourself a chance to actually go and look at the forecast, So if let's say, you're looking at like, the evening is going to start to flare up with thunderstorms. Well, there's a good chance that by the afternoon, you're going to get that pressure blowing through low or high, whatever it ends up for you. But yeah, no, definitely pay attention. Like it's not the place you want to be stuck out in, and you definitely don't want to be stuck out on the water and feel the static charge because it is I'm not it is not a very pleasant feeling, I have to say.
I'm going to show you right here, and I don't know if you can see that on my phone. Like I got the weather app.
Yeah, I'm the same way, dude. Yeah,
those are my go-tos when I go out in the water. I see where the locations are, what the weather's like. Make sure.
I am the exact same way. I use My Radar, Weather Network, Weather Canada, and then Matt Stigmata.
Yeah,
did I say that?
Tough one to figure out. I gotta ask.
Yeah,
for pronouncing it.
Yeah, he gave me one which is it's called Windfinder. I don't know. I think it's a too. I think that one's cool. It's just like a neat app that you can get. It's probably going to be kind of hard to see. Yeah. But what I was going to say is with, Hard Knox meetups coming up, it's going to be like loads of fun. I'll be there. I'll definitely be for every stop that a Hard Knox meetup has this season. You have a chance to win a River Run Fishing podcast hat. It is there's the hat.
Sweet, that looks
awesome. Get a hat. Snap back. You got stickers. So hey, if you're no sense in trying to make a thunderstorm of noise in here, but and like Wham Baits, let's talk 3D rigs. Francis, yeah, and also we're talking the Canadian tackle.
Yeah, that was Warren and Peter that got that together for us. For that, we got the $25 gift card for Canadian tackle store. I believe it is.
Which, who doesn't need more fishing tackle? You know what I mean? Like,
make sure.
Yeah.
I get it.
That's why I keep it all in the garage.
What now? You got this? Yeah.
I thought you had enough of these, but you don't understand. Yeah,
exactly.
So as we definitely are coming close to just over an hour now, I wanted to say, Steve, I gotta say, brother, thank you so much for coming on the River Run podcast. It's been honestly, it's been a lot of fun. And at the same time, I'm going to let you, shout out any of the fantastic, people you want to shout out. Let people know where they can follow you. Let people know where they can follow Hard Knox. Like I said, I'll have all that linked up. But yeah, no, it's all there for you, brother.
Yeah, perfect. We have a Facebook group, Hard Knox Kayak Fishing. You can find it on Facebook. We also have an Instagram. Hard Knox Kayak Fishing on Instagram. Any questions anybody has or looking for info, I'm always there for taking DMs. I got no problem helping somebody out or just talking about inquiries about stuff and whatnot. All of Hard Knox events are based on grassroots. They're free. There's no money needed to come to our events. Everything's for people to get together, spend a day on the water, make friends, catch fish, laugh, joke, rouse each other, the things that we do when we're out in the water. Every event we have, we do raffles. All our sponsors donate some stuff, and we do raffles just for the appreciation of everybody coming out. And
for the anglers,
Yeah. And like I say, it's as the weather gets better and whatnot, there will be, I'm going to bring my daughter out with me to some of the meets if she wants to come out. So it's not just for the adults. Fishing is for everybody, all walks of life. Doesn't matter
100%, dude.
How you are,
family oriented.
As you can get out in the water or fish from the shore. If you're getting out there and getting your lines wet and catching fish, that's the main part. And sometimes you get skunked. Sometimes we don't. Just don't get discouraged. It happens to the best.
It's 100%. It's why they call it fishing, not catching, right? If it was called catching, everybody would be doing it. No, exactly. Steve, where can they follow? Where can they follow you? Where can we find Steve on these socials, man?
I have Instagram somewhere in Ontario is my handle on Instagram, and
Love it.
I believe it's linked into the Hard Knox as well. Like I said, I live in Niagara. I got 2 great bodies of water beside me: Lake Ontario, Lake Erie.
Yeah.
I tend to not fish here close to home. I'm usually driving 3 hours or more to go fishing.
Fair enough, dude. I get it.
For some reason, I really enjoy fishing Eastern Ontario. I don't know why. The people are great out there.
Woods. Yeah.
The people are great. The water, there's so many lakes and rivers that are accessible, and they're not pressured like Central Ontario. You know what I mean? Like, everybody from...
It's true. It is.
Everybody from the cities either goes to Kawartha or to Muskoka. So anybody who has a cottage or a trailer in those areas,
what a place that is, Muskoka's.
The lakes are bombarded with people on the weekends.
Yeah, and boats.
If I could work weekends and have 2 days off in the middle of the week, I'd be at the trailer because there'd be nobody on the water, and I'd have the lake to myself. But we all can't have that unless we win millions or retire.
It's true. We all got to wait for retirement. But I honestly, no, I can. I think for me, like just fishing, Eastern Ontario down to Quebec, Southern Ontario, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, wherever. It's cool to have a group that has the same drive for passion that I do for this sport as Hard Knox does. And it's fantastic to be a part of Hard Knox and everything.
I like it that you're part of the group.
And I love being part of the group. I think since day one, I've always been, like I said, I've always been drawn by the name. I love the logo. Well, I have the original logo. So hold on here. So that's the new one. Yeah. Okay, these are the new ones. But actually, on my trailer, I have one of the original logos that Steve did, because when you're at the charity event. Yeah, remember at the charity event that one year we were getting ready to go out there. Yeah, and
is it the crown on there, or is it the maple leaf on the top?
I think it's maple leaf. It's not the OG. It's
the OG one has the crown.
It has the crown on it. That was it. Yeah,
crown and the fish hooks. And
I
wanted to make it more Canadian, and we are on the water from dawn till dusk, and that's kind of why the colors are the way they are now. Sunset. You're on the water.
Now, so here's the next thing. If you are interested in supporting Steve, swag, you can pick up swag at Hard Knox. You can DM Steve. You can come to a meet, save on shipping, come to a meet, come paddle, maybe get some free swag. But and like I said, if anybody in the Eastern Ontario area is looking for Hard Knox stuff, let me know, and I can make sure on my travels with Hard Knox to come on down and definitely bring it on up back like I did with the KBC hats from Frontenac, but I can do the same. So if you are interested in Hard Knox clothing up here, let me know. I will definitely make sure to get you some, because Steve and I are always going to be linking up on the water.
I'm planning at some point this summer to come visit you, and you're always talking the St. Lawrence, Swallies, St. Lawrence.
Well,
I'm going to come down.
Brother, you're welcome here anytime. Mi casa, like as I say,
and visit the St. Lawrence with you, and maybe show the ropes out there.
Oh, I got. It's funny you say that, because the St. Lawrence has always been calling your name, Steve. It'll be fun. Yeah, no, I think that would be really awesome, and I think for sure. So at the same time, I want to just say thank you so much for coming on and talking Hard Knox. Thank you, Hard Knox, for supporting the River Run podcast.
You're welcome.
Thank you for always just being an awesome friend, brother. Like, you are you're truly one of those people who I look and I say to you, you are truly selfless as a human, but also is just a fantastic individual, and I'm very lucky to have you as a friend. So I just wanted to say thank you very much, brother, for coming on the River Run podcast. And we're gonna have to have the whole gang of Hard Knocks crew back on here on one of the next ones. But thank you for coming on. Thank you for everything you do. And like I said, I look forward to chatting with you soon, brother. Take care.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
All right, brother. See you soon. All right, guys. You heard it. That is Steve Eidt. He is the River Run podcast. Well, sorry, Hard Knox Kayak Fishing. I am the River Run podcast host, Adam Fraser Pross. Thanks for coming on down, guys. This has been a lot of fun. At the same time, I look forward to seeing you all out on the water. Make sure you like, subscribe, and check out Paddle and Fin and all the fantastic stuff that they have. Once again, I am Adam Fraser, your host, and I thank you for stopping on by the River Run podcast. Take care.